welcome back to a new episode of Little Shop of Nerds. I'm Julia.
Michael.
Okay, and this week's hint is rice ball. And we're going to be talking about Fruits Basket Prelude.
That means we're going to be talking about how Toru's mom and dad came in the picture.
Now, their relationship is a little iffy. I really did enjoy the pairing back when I first started reading the series, but now that I'm much older, I can see how it might be a little creepy from the perspective of someone who's in her 30s.
Well, it is a little. It is. Yeah. Now, if you're going to do a dating age gap, make sure it's legal.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically at this time, it kind of was legal.
I get how it's different in Japan and stuff, but still, I'm putting our butts on the line here. I'm just saying.
Well, depending on when they were actually dating, because someone did say between the 1970s and 80s, the legal age of consent was still 13 in Japan.
Yeah, that's during that time.
And which is when the story takes place.
Either way.
So if this was all going down when the legal age of consent was still 13, nothing we can do about that.
Well, still, I'm just saying, 21.
Well, the legal age of consent in Japan is now 18.
Well, either if it's 18 or 16, I'm just saying, wait till they're adult, then do it.
Well, I mean, 18 is an adult.
Yeah, but still, if they're in high school, it's still grody.
I mean, people do it all the time, though.
I don't care.
The age of consent, like here in some of the states here, age of consent 16, so...
I know, but here's the thing. I'm just saying, even if they're 18 or 20... wait until they're out of high school. Because it's still grody if you're dating in high school. Because, when I graduated, I was, 18 or 19? It's still grody.
But people 18 and 19 sleep together all the time when they're in high school, Mike.
Yeah, that's because they're the same age. Okay. I'm talking about older.
Okay, so what if there's someone that's 18 and they're still in high school, but their partner's 20?
Then that's an iffy thing right there.
How?
I don't know. But in my opinion, because
they're 18, they're an adult.
Yeah, they're 18, they're an adult, but if they're still in high school, no one's going to... Police will still think it's creepy and still... Because think, if you're still in high school, they still... Even you're technically an adult, the police will still think, oh, yeah, he is an adult, but he's still in high school. That could still be a gray area there.
I don't know any officer that would think that.
Have you seen today's judicial
system?
Yeah, because think, look at it. How we were surprised that Amber Heard was actually the abuser?
Okay. How about this? So, I'm supposed to see my cousin tomorrow.
Okay.
And my cousin, at one point, was a police officer. Well, that is if he shows up tomorrow. He was a police officer at one time. So I can always ask him.
That might be a good idea. Get his idea on it.
Because what you're saying me doesn't make any sense at all.
I know, but it's still, you kind of wonder if it's still a gray area. Because even if they're 18, they still have the age of consent, but if they're still in high school, because you never know, because people might take it the wrong way.
Well, I mean, just because she's in high school or he's in high school and the other one's not in high school doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's true, too.
I mean, they could be 19 or 18 in high school, and then their significant other could be 19 and out of high school.
Yeah,
is that iffy too, Mike?
Well, it depends on the situation. Are they almost close to graduating? That's the point.
Okay, what if they're halfway through the year and they just turned 18?
I don't know.
And then they start dating someone that's 19.
I don't know. It depends on the situation.
Considering that I was dating one of my boyfriends at the age of 17, and he was 18 because his birthday was like 4 months before mine.
But were you two still in high school, though?
Yes. We were both in high school. He was 18 and I was 17. Because his birthday was in February, mine's in August. So he turned 18 before I did.
Well, it depends. Technically, if you're still in high school, but still, he could get in trouble because you're still a minor.
Age of consent 16.
Yeah, age of consent is still 16.
Yeah, so you can't really get in trouble for that.
No, that's true too. But still, he could. I'm not saying he would. He might, because since you both look like you're a certain age, maybe the officer would just let you guys go. But then again, if he asked the age, then maybe.
Okay, guys, in the comments, is Mike making any sense? Because he is not making any sense to me.
Well,
are you talking out of your ass again?
Maybe, but here's the thing. I'm just saying. Okay, what about this, right? If a girl's 16 and she's dating a guy who's 18, they're still in high school, would he get in trouble?
No, because age of consent is 16. As long as they're within that age of consent, I don't think he might be able to be. I don't even think he could be charged with statutory.
Well, maybe not. Well, just ask your cousin. See what.
If I see him tomorrow, I will ask him.
Let's just get into this. Come on.
Okay, so Fruits Basket Prelude. I really enjoyed it, and I was really looking forward to this being animated. But they did cut it out of the anime when they released the anime. And then they just released it as a movie. So, like, the first part of the movie was just kind of like a recap of what happened. Like, the relationship between Kyo and Toru and how it led up to where they got together at the end. And then it kind of went into the story of Katsuya and Kyoko. And Katsuya, if you don't know, is Toru's father. And Kyoko is Toru's mother. Mm-hmm. So, this is where it gets a little iffy. So, Kyoko was a gang member. Mm-hmm. And she'd stay out all night driving her motorcycle around the city, getting into fights, all types of things.
Carrying a sword.
Yeah, skip school, all of that. Go ahead.
But she had her reasons why she did that. Because, well, I wouldn't say why she was like that because of her parents.
Yeah, her parents, they only cared about appearances, because she said that she never really, I don't think they ever, like, hugged her or told her that they loved her, showed her any type of affection. She said that they hardly had eaten dinner together.
Yeah, and her mom only cares about, you need to be this way to get a good husband, and their dad are like, like I said, they only worry about their image, which, to me, that is emotionally abusive. Mm-hmm. That is abusive. That's emotionally abusive. Even if it's not physically, it's still emotionally abusive.
Yeah. So, when she does go to school, and with her being a delinquent, she always, because you would see this with Uotani, but Uotani, by the time that we actually meet Uotani, she was not, in the gang anymore. She had gotten out of the gang. But Kyoko would wear, long skirts, and basically would look like a delinquent, shaved off her eyebrows and all that. So they drag her to the counselor's office, and she throws her in there, and they're fighting, and she throws, a chair at the window and breaks it, and they're calling her parents, and inside is this man, and he's like, well, he basically talks to her and says, why are you so angry and everything, and she's talking about how she, everything just sucks, everybody sucks, how she hates everybody, how she was, I don't think she ever said that she was actually lonely, but Katsuya had actually picked it up, so that's her future husband. So Kyoko, when she met Katsuya, she was in middle school. She was probably about 14 when she met him. And there is an 8-year age gap, so he was 22. And that's kind of where it's a little iffy because of when they met. But if you watch it, like, I don't really feel like he had been grooming her at any point. Because it definitely seemed like, so he was nice to her, and she had never gotten that from an adult figure. So she just kind of like, I feel like she might have attached herself to him because he showed her that affection that she craved from her family or from her parents. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, it's the
because she started to fall in love with him before he really, I feel like before he really showed any true interest in her.
Yeah, and I do know he did take her to a ramen shop, just show her, asking her, why you're like this, and he just, she spills it, and he's like, well, I guess I'll see you, and she's like, no, you're not gonna see me in class.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's a shame, no brows. He keeps calling her no brows.
Calls her no brows because she doesn't have eyebrows because she shaved them off. So I think really what he was trying to do was he was just trying to figure out why she was the way that she was. And I think that eventually it did turn into where he felt like he had a connection with her. She definitely showed that she was interested in him because she started going to school. She might not have gone to class, but she was going to school so she could see Katsuya. So one day he takes her to, or he's about to, his time at that school had ended, and so he was leaving, and Kyoko wanted to go to his lecture, see him teach at least once, but she couldn't bring herself to do it.
And I think after, he's starting to leave, she wants to get better at school, so he does some tutoring on the side.
Yeah, well, before that, they went to the beach, was he tutoring her before that?
I think it was maybe before or after.
I just watched it just a few days ago, and I can't even remember that.
Well, either way, right? They go to the beach. He tells what he's going to do, and help her, whatever, right? Whatever happens, and you can tell that's when the love starts to grow.
So at this point, she's probably roughly about 15-ish. I'm gonna say like late 14. Early 15, somewhere around in there.
Yes. And I know this is when we get to the part where she is starting to learn, wants to do better so she can at least get something and go to work. Yeah. Whatever it is. She's learning she's getting tutored by him, and
she's still seeing him and he's still tutoring her.
And her gang doesn't like it because she keeps missing stuff, and here's the thing, they beat the she was going to take the exam, and they beat the shit out of her before the day that she was going to do it.
Yeah, I don't think it was the day before, but she was in the hospital for quite a while, because when she woke up she was in the hospital, and then she had missed the exam, and she said that some teachers came in to see her. I think some friends from school or something came in to see her, but her parents never did.
No, because they, like I said, they should be. Here's the thing: if you're, in my opinion, if you are worried about your image and your child is going to cause that, don't have fucking children.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like if you only care about your freaking image, don't have fucking children.
Yeah.
Because right now she should have had better parents, or at least give her.
Well, I think that with them is that they were trying to mold Kyoko into what they wanted her to be.
But here's the thing. Kids are never going to be like their parents. They don't want to be their parents.
Yeah.
Because to me, if a kid wants to be like their dad, that's not much of an independence.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so she misses the exam because she's in the hospital. When she finally gets released from the hospital, she goes home. Her dad smacked her and dropped a bag in front of her and told her to get out because they were disowning her. They didn't want her in that house anymore and that she needed to get out. So Kyoko is just like, what am I supposed to do now? And then Katsuya comes in and he was like, is like, how can you talk about your daughter like that? He goes, but, anyways.
But, yes. And here's the thing. Before, like, he said he was going to take care of her, like, the whole spiel. You can tell her mom did not agree with her husband. Mm-hmm. But she was so damn afraid to say something. She did not want to help. And this is why I say...
Because I think she's the one that called Katsuya and told him that Kyoko was getting out of the hospital that day.
Yeah, it could have been. But here's the thing. It is really how... If people are like this, why bother having a child if you're not going to care for it?
So he shows up and he basically tells her parents, I have every intention of marrying your daughter. So at this point, like I said, she's probably about 15 at this point.
Right.
Now, in Japan, the earliest that somebody could get married without parental consent is 16. And her father is completely okay with it. He's like, if you want her, you can have her. So, basically, he's just saying, after you take her, I don't care what happens to her. You can do whatever you want. So, this is where it gets a little iffy because her parents just don't care. But Katsuya obviously does want to take care of her. He obviously does have some sort of feelings for her. And then he told her father when he picked up her bag, he's like, I will be back in a few days for you to sign some paperwork. And her dad's like, fine. He's like, just go. So they go and Kyoko does try to get out of it, saying, you don't have to do this. You don't have to take care of me. I can take care of myself. I'll figure something out. And Katsuya is like, no, I'll take care of you. And then they do have their first kiss.
And he takes her to his father's house. And how can I put this? She was afraid because he says he used to be a Spitfire or
he was really strict. Yeah.
And when she gets there, he was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and she's like, wait, you said that your father was strict. And he was like, he's mellowed out over the years. So, so he supported their relationship, but the rest of the family did not.
And this is one thing I do like about Toru's grandfather. Like, he did love Toru. He did love his daughter-in-law. But it's just the family was dicks. That's why in the fruit basket, he told Toru, be with the people that's actually going to care for you. Yeah. Even though he said, I want you here, but right now with these pricks, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, so this is the same grandfather that took Toru in at the beginning of the series. He was the only one that really seemed to care about Kyoko and Katsuya. Like, he was really happy that Katsuya found someone to share his life with. Now, they do end up getting married. They didn't have a ceremony or anything like that, even though Katsuya wanted it, but she's like, no. So they kind of just eloped. And the only one that really supported them, like we said, was Katsuya's father. And they start living together, and they, spending time together, and, she's taking care of the house, he's working, all of that. And eventually, Kyoko does get pregnant. Now, I keep finding, conflicting information on when she was pregnant. A lot of people are saying that she got pregnant, or she gave birth to Toru at the age of 17. because Kyoko apparently was 33 when she passed away at the beginning of the series. So that would put her at 17 when she gave birth. So she was either, she had just turned 17 when she found out that she was pregnant, or she was 16 when she found out that she was pregnant. So, like I said at the time that this might have been going on, it could have been a time when the age of consent was 13. So, really, they really can't step in and say anything because they are married.
That's true.
So, there wouldn't have been any way for them to... And I don't see Katsuya as being the type of person to try anything like that outside of marriage. So, anyway, so she does give birth to Toru, and they're really happy with Toru. Both of them absolutely adore Toru. Her grandfather adores Toru, and then Katsuya goes on a business trip. Katsuya is 28 at this time.
Yes.
Toru is 3. He gets sick, and he passes away. And the night before he passed, or that night, before, because they did find him the next day dead, a coworker did, he had said, maybe we should think about giving Toru a sibling. And she's like, what are you saying? And stuff like that. And then he did pass away. And
that's when...
Kyoko fell into a very deep depression.
And this is one thing about, it got worse when she went to his funeral.
Yeah,
because she was, like you said, she was really depressed because he's gone, but her in-laws they gossip about her.
Yeah, they thought that she was stepping out on Katsuya just because of her past as a gang member. So they didn't even think that Toru was his.
And also, there was also things like, well, she knew he was sick, had a cold, she should have... And now here's the thing.
Why wasn't she there taking care of him? And she did offer to go.
And now I'm putting this out, a warning to people who goes to funerals and gossip about a certain person who, like a widow or a widower's spouse passing away. If you're going to gossip like that, do not go to the fucking funeral. Be respectful.
Like, you don't know what... Because, like, she did say, do you need me to come take care of you? And he's like, no, I'll be fine.
No.
So she did offer to go to him. And then she told him, she's like, make sure you go to the clinic tomorrow. He's like, I will. But in a way, so, like, he should have gone to the clinic a lot sooner. Like he said he was going to. Because she's like, why didn't you go to the clinic like I told you? And he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'll go tomorrow. And she's like, okay.
Well, he should have gone afterwards.
Yeah.
They say it was a cold, but I'm like, I understand colds can kill.
Yeah, we're not exactly quite... I mean, I'm thinking that he might have had some form of, like, a pneumonia or something.
Yes, because I know pneumonia can be really deadly. And
yeah, my grandma... she had breast cancer, or she had like 3 different types of cancers like throughout her life, and the last one that she had was lung cancer, and she got pneumonia towards the end of her life, and that's what ultimately helped speed up her life.
Yeah, I do know.
The end of her life. So
I do know if you get pneumonia once, you're going to get it again. I think that's what people advise, to get the shot once in a while.
I got pneumonia about 6 years ago, 8 years ago. Charlie and I had just started living together, and I got pneumonia, and I had to go to the hospital, and I didn't have any cough or anything. All I had was just a pain under my breast, and they had to do tests, and then they came in and like, yeah, you got pneumonia. I was like, oh. They're like, yeah, and they had to give me antibiotics. I know you've had it a couple times.
Yes, and like I said, people, go get the shot, go so you don't have these problems. And like I said, after that, with her everything that happened, she goes more into her depression.
Yeah, like, she hardly ever interacted with Toru after that. She basically would just lay there or just sit there or and basically do nothing, and Toru's just like, what's, a little 3-year-old girl just basically taking care of herself. And then one day she's sitting there in this dark living room, and she's flipping through the TV, and Toru looks over at her and sees her mom like this, and her mom Kyoko stopped on a channel, on a show where they were talking about, oh, your husband's still here and stuff. It was like a psychic thing. And then she goes, would Katsuya be there if I went there? So she got up and she went. She left. Toru was following after her, trying, wanting to leave with her. And then she just left the door shut and she just left Toru by herself. At 3 years old, this little girl by herself. And then she goes to the beach and she's standing and she saw what she thought was Katsuya out in the background. And she was going to jump. But a mom and this little girl were nearby and they talked. They said something. The little girl said, come on, Mommy, let's go. And that kind of brought her out of it. And then she's like, oh, shit. What have I been doing? What about Toru? When was the last time I saw her? I talked to her. Who's been taking care of her? She's like, I think Pops came a few times. She goes, but what about all the times when Pops wasn't there? So she runs back, and this is the part that always gets me. It gets me in the manga, and it got me in this one. She threw open the door, and Toru was kneeling in front of the door, like falling asleep. And she woke up, and she goes, welcome home, Mom, or welcome home, Mommy. And then that's when that kind of brought Kyoko out of her depression. And she's like, I need to be a better parent to my daughter.
Yes. Like I said, she was a good parent before her husband died. It was just after that was causing her to be... And in my opinion, to everyone out there who lost a parent, mother, or a spouse, if you go into a deep depression like that, I advise you to seek help, talk to someone, because if not, the end result is not going to be pretty.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, though, after Katsuya had passed away, her father contacted her and was like, don't you even think about coming back with that child.
Yes.
Like, they literally called her and said, we want nothing to do with you or that child. We don't want to see you on our doorstep. Don't even think about it. And I don't remember what she said, but she hung up on him. And she, and I think that probably contributed to her depression, because really the only support that she really had was from Katsuya's father.
And that was pretty much it.
That's the only support system that she had, because the family didn't seem to care.
Her in-laws didn't care. Only her father-in-law that cares.
Yeah, and you can definitely see it in the first few episodes. I think it's the first episode of first couple of episodes of Fruits Basket, and it's in the first chapter of the manga where her aunt and cousins move in with them after they remodeled the house, and she was like, well, Kyoko was a little rough around the edges, and the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. And then, like, the nephew or her cousin was like, Toru, you didn't do anything improper with those men, or they didn't do anything improper to you when you were staying with them, And then the grandfather smacks him because he's like, what the fuck are you saying? So yeah, her in-laws were dicks.
In my opinion, why are the fucking in-laws living with their fucking father? They have jobs, get their own fucking place.
The only thing that I could think of is that they were moving in to help take care of him, because he was getting on in age. That's the only thing that I could think of.
Well, that, or they're trying to get his fucking money.
Maybe, yeah.
But and then, like I said, I don't blame the grandfather. Mm-hmm. He even warned Toru, hey, get the fuck out of here. Because if you're not, you're going to be more depressed.
Yeah. So then we see more of like when like Toru or when Kyoko met Kyo when he was little and all of that. Like just scenes like that. And then it showed where he saw her die. And he's like, oh shit. You know, and all of that. I mean, we've already talked about that. So it interspersed like and then, you know, stuff from the series. And then they added, like, this little thing that I do not believe was in the series. But this was the end. It was Toru and Kyo. Toru was walking, and she's humming, and she has, like, this bag of vegetables that she got from somebody at work. And she's, like, wondering what she was going to make. She was like, I'm definitely going to use some of these in my cooking tonight. And then she runs into Kyo, and Kyo was like, yeah, I got some fish. You know, and they were talking about how it was going to be their first summer since they moved away from their last city, which I think was probably the suburbs of Tokyo. And, you know, they were talking about it was going to be their first summer together, and they lived, like, near the coast and everything like that. And then that's basically where it ended. So while I don't agree with how they got together, Katsuya and Kyoko got together, it is a little, I do feel it is a little iffy, but I'm not really upset about it as much as I probably should be. I don't know, it's yeah, I think it's a little gross, but I'm also just kind of like, her parents basically just said, do whatever you want with her. So
That's pretty much, and like I said, I agree with you, but right now, it's just a movie, but I still think you should wait.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, I mean, when the series came out, it was a different time.
yeah, I get it, it's a different time, but let's just end that, like, right there, you know?
Yeah. So,
because I don't think you want to hear me talk out of my ass again.
No, because I hear enough of that at work. I don't want to hear it now, too.
Yeah, what do you expect? Anyways,
yeah, so that was Fruits Basket Prelude. That's basically
it's good. It's good.
It is a good one. It's only like a little over an hour and a half. I mean, it is a good origin story, because that's basically what it is. It's an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, like, it is a sweet story between the two, between Katsuya and Kyoko. It's just a little iffy.
Yeah, a lot of iffy.
Yep.
Big iffy.
Yep. So that's the end of that. So, you know, like and subscribe. Did you enjoy, you know, if you seen it, did you enjoy it? Leave your, leave any comments that you have down below below. Just let us know what you think. And, we'd like to hear from our fans.
And also, put in the comment, Mike, don't talk out of your ass again.
Yes, definitely put that in the comments.
Anyways.
We don't need Mike talking out of his ass in every single episode.
All right. Should we give the next week's hint?
Yes, next week's hint is going to be, please tell us your name. So, see if y'all can figure that out.
Yes, please.
So, but yeah, like we said, like, comment, subscribe.
24 subscribers right now, so
trying to get up to 100. So help us reach that goal.
And we'll hopefully show our faces soon.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Bye.